This is the 2024 Acura MDX Type S. Is this the trim level that has it all? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Acura here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we're going to go over the particulars on this Type S MDX. Don't forget, there's a link in the description of the video if you want to know more about this model. And if you come in to Acura, tell whoever you talk to that you saw my video on the vehicle you're interested in. This only applies to new vehicles, not used, but it's the Vehicle Visionary discount. You get $500 off. And here with the front end, if you want something that's unique, in fact, there's a few things that are unique here without tongue twist, unique to the Type S, including the front fascia. Also including this lunar silver metallic exterior color. You'll also find that not only can you only get this exterior color right now with the MDX on the Type S trim level, but also the azurite blue interior. I'm going to open the panoramic sunroof or move the shade out of the way later on. That will put more light here and you'll be able to see that better later in the video. And as far as the front end goes, everything is going to be LED as far as your lighting goes. The Jewel Eye LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and for those of you who must have fog lights on your SUVs, there are the LED fog lights. Not too much gloss black here. I think it's very well balanced in the right places. Shouldn't be any problems. I think that works quite well. The Type S logo is going to be not only here on the front, but also on the rear. You'll also find it here on the front fenders as well. Special handling all-wheel drive. Obviously, that's going to be standard no matter what if you go Type S. And I like the contrast that the red brake calipers bring. It just really sets things off. Let's talk about our tire and wheel size. We're looking at 275 on our width, a 40 series sidewall wrapped around those, unique to the Type S trim level, 21-inch wheels. And as we work our way up to our side view mirrors, you're going to have the turn signal indicators built in. They are heated, they are power adjustable, they're also power folding. Now there's a couple of things you can do here to make that happen, one of which is to push that button right there. Now your ignition will have to be on for that to work. Not a big deal, just so you know. Speaking of the ignition and turning things on, you have remote start on your remote. So this is the remote for the Type S, and you'll find the Type S logo on the back. It is a proximity key. You do have the walk-away feature. And again, some gloss black treatments, not only with the trim on the lower portion, but also down here on the doors. It just fits. You've got your roof rails up there. Now the window tint on this model has been added by the dealership, so that's not factory tint. I know it's legal for the state of Louisiana. I can't tell you about everywhere else, just depends on when or where you're buying from. LED taillights finish things off. There's that Type S logo I told you was here on the rear, the MDX logo, and your SH all-wheel drive logo. And in my personal opinion, especially on something that has as much horsepower and torque as this model does, it's just not appropriate to not have some kind of exhaust outlets coming out, and I like the fact that we have the quad tip exhaust. Under the hood is the direct injection turbocharged 3-liter 6-cylinder. It makes 355 horsepower and 354 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Let's take a look at the MPGs on this particular model. We're looking at 17 city, 21 highway, 19 combined, and 5.3 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And to gain access to your capless fuel fill that ultimately allows you to fill your 18.5 gallon gas tank, well, you don't have to do anything other than push on the gas door as I just did. Now the nice thing here is that when you lock the interior, it also locks this gas door. If you would like to tow with your MDX Type S, it can tow up to 5,000 pounds. You do have the hands-free tailgate back here. All you have to do is kick your foot under that center section of the bumper. There is an instructional sticker that comes on the vehicle that will show you how to do everything you need to do with that. Towing up to 5,000 pounds, 18.1 up to 95 cubic feet when everything is maximized as it is here. And by the way, there is the panoramic sunroof. I did open that shade and you can maybe see that azurite blue a little bit better from this angle. You also have some space underneath the floor right here. Very easy to deal with. And there's a little bit of room right here. You'll also find the hooks right here for grocery bags and whatever else you need. There's one right there, and cup holders, as we can see. We obviously have 3 rows here, just to give you a quick view from here. Now you'll also find a 12-volt power outlet, and right there, that is the walk-away feature. So let's just say that for some reason you don't want to use that motion sensor underneath the bumper that I just showed you right there, and you need to gather up a bunch of groceries or whatever it is you have, and you don't have any free hands. Well, you push that button as I just did. You'll notice I've been standing here for a little while. I push the button one time, but after I walk out from under the tailgate, it's going to automatically close. That is the walk-away feature. And let's take a look at what your second and third row passengers are going to find. Beyond those cup holders I showed you, you do have the comfortable armrest right here when you put your arm up there. It seems to be pretty comfortable. A reasonable size door bin. For this size of SUV, you've got the shades right here that can be moved out of the way or put back in place. Those are manual. Now you'll notice that to help out with third row leg space is that you can move these seats back and forth, at least the outboard seats. The middle seat doesn't move back and forth. However, it is completely removable. Very easy to deal with. You'll just lower this down with a release right here like that. And then there's a release on the front of the seat. You tilt that forward, pick it up, and you can actually put it in that area in the back within the floor that I showed you earlier. So let's see how easy it is to gain access to the third row. We're going to push this button right here on the side of the seat, and the seat moves forward. And that will go further forward than it just did. It just depends on where the driver's seat is located, how far it's reclined, all of that. So we're going to move that seat all the way back. Leg space, well, it's not the greatest when the seats are all the way back, but that's what we have. Now, the one thing at 5'10", well, you can see I don't have a lot of head space. That's just the way it is. If we moved the middle seat out, I'd have more leg space, at least on one side, because I could stretch out a little bit. And let's move over here to the passenger side and see that I definitely have a lot more leg space. I don't know how practical it would be for somebody to have their seat this far forward, but that's what you have as far as that goes. And here is the view of the sunroof. Panoramic sunroof. That front portion does tilt and slide open, by the way, and obviously there is a shade you can draw forward if you want to minimize how much sun is coming into the interior. And one more thing I do want to show right here is the USB port. There's going to be one on each side, on the passenger and driver's side here. And to get out of the back seat, well, you don't have to rely on middle row passengers to get the seat up and out of the way. There's a button that third row passengers can push to make that very easy. And there's how things look with the panoramic sunroof when the shade is drawn forward. Plenty of leg room, plenty of space, a lot more space, headroom and everything here with the middle row. Not unusual. That's pretty much typical with most mid-size SUVs. And there is room to grow, so to speak. That's why you have this indented area that actually increases leg space just a little bit. We have the rear seat pockets right here, and on the rear of the center console is going to be the command center for controlling the third zone of climate control, and we have some USB options, a power outlet, and another 12-volt. And by the way, earlier in the video, I showed you that you can push that button on the interior when the ignition is running to fold your power folding side view mirrors. They also automatically fold in when you lock the vehicle, and they'll obviously fold back out when you unlock the vehicle. Let's hop inside and we'll take a look at what happens on the dash. Well, not only look, but we'll listen. And that's not all there is. You have the animation when everything comes up with your digital dash display or digital instrument display. How about the sticker price on this model? $75,170 is what you can expect to pay. That way, for those of you who made it to this point in the video, when people jump in the comment section and say, "Why didn't you give the price, Tom?" you can tell them you should have watched the whole video. And when you turn your headlights on, you're going to notice the likeness of your MDX that's down there in the center of the instrument display. You'll see the illumination of the lights right there. Also, when you put your foot on the brake, the rear lights, tail lights, I should say, light up. And when you go into drive, it gets down into the, what I call, ready, set, go position. You also have a head-up display. I'm not sure how well that shows up on the screen here. It is a nice, bright Louisiana day. So sometimes there's disadvantages to that, but we'll see if we can't fix that later in the video. Maybe get into a darker atmosphere. 3 settings for seat memory. And there's that button I pushed earlier to use those power folding side view mirrors. One of the options to make that happen. You have your lock and unlock button and controls for your windows. Everything here for safety features. You can push that button right there. And you can also adjust the head-up display depending on what you want to do with the control here. So depending on what you want to see, you can change that. It's probably a little hard to see that right there, but I'm changing the position. Not sure if that's helping you out to see that or not, but that's what you have. You'll also have traction control right there, pretty easy to deal with. Your steering wheel mounted controls, I probably don't need to tell you too much about that. And there is a power button on the left-hand side of the steering column right there that allows you to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And the good thing about that is the whole steering column moves, and that means the positioning of the lever over here for your front and rear window wipers and your turn signals and lights, fog lights, all that also move with that, as do your shifter paddles. That's a good thing. Nice large shifter paddles to work your way back and forth through the 10-speed automatic transmission. I probably don't need to tell you that the right side is up. It's got the plus right there. Left side is down because it has the minus right there. So hopefully you know. Now, here is your infotainment screen. Not currently a touch screen, but we'll see what we get for 2025. I believe that's going to happen. I haven't had a chance to see it in person, but that does seem to be what we're going to have. And then for those who want to pair their phone, but maybe use something else as far as navigation goes besides what's on your phone, well, you can use what's built in here with your navigation. You also have wireless connectivity for your phone. You can see Android Auto and Apple CarPlay right there. And this screen is not that hard to use. I know some people don't like it, and that's okay. You're about to have a nice option on that. Let's go to ambient lighting. We're going to, again, try to get into a darker atmosphere later in the video and see if I can show you what is here where that's concerned. There's a lot of different things you can do to change that, but it's there. Also, we can turn on our cameras. We have the multiple camera views all around the vehicle, including that overhead 360-degree view that gives you a look at what's going on around the vehicle. You can see we have a front and rear camera view here. I'm going to go right there, and there is our front camera view. Very easy to deal with. I like that. Now let's go down here and talk about our dual zone climate control. There's a lot more than just controlling the fan speed and the temperature down here. You also have your ventilated seats and your heated seats. Now you have another button right here that is for the massage function with the seats. And you can go in and make some changes to that as well. If you just hold that button down for just a second, then you actually get your different massage functions that come, and you can see what all is there. So depending on what you want, lower back, upper back, fusion, you saw Zen earlier, rejuvenation, it's all here. That's good for me today because I did a very aggressive back workout before coming out here to film these videos. And the passenger has the exact same setup over there. Power adjustable seats with lumbar, all of that is here. Now you do have a push button shifter right here, so if you're curious about that, then that's what you have in case you wanted to know. And we have, besides the push button shifter here, we have our drive mode selector. So let's work our way through our different driving modes. And we have comfort, we have normal, go down to sport. You can see the graphics that accompany everything. And for my friends who live up in the colder climates, you also have snow. You can also go into individual mode and make a lot of changes to the vehicle depending on what you want to do as far as different modes and different aspects of what the vehicle is doing. If you want to use USB connectivity, there it is, just nicely hidden away. I like that. You can turn the auto stop start feature on or off depending on your preference. You can also use brake hold mode right there. And right here is the rest for your hand, so it makes it easier to use this trackpad right here. Also, control for your radio. You can surf through stations, turn it on and off, and adjust the volume. Wireless charging is here, as well as a center console that has some space within it right there, but that's not all it has. You also have more space within down here and some more connectivity via USB and 12 volt. Up here we have a sunglass holder and some of the other features as far as controlling that power shade and the position of your sunroof. And last but not least, I wanted to make sure I show you the glove box. There is plenty of space within, just no gloves. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier in the video is the fact that you have parking sensors, just in case you're curious. Okay, so what does the ambient lighting look like? There you go. That is what it looks like. Looks very nice, definitely shows up very well. And it's not only here in the front seat area, you also have some in the back seat area, so nobody's left out there. And we also have the head-up display right there. Pretty nice look, and I did want to show you a couple of things on the exterior of the vehicle as well. If you open the doors, you have the lights right there. That's nice and helpful. Just something to help out after dark. All right, let's get out on the road for a quick test drive. And I'm going to start out in normal mode. When you change driving modes, for those who may wish to know, the one thing I really wish a lot of automakers would do differently is allow the vehicle to stay in whatever mode it's in when you shut the ignition off. And unfortunately, that is not going to be the case here. So if we're driving in sport mode, well, we're going to be back to normal when you turn the ignition off and then turn it back on. Just one of those things, not necessarily the end of the world, but it's just one of those things that I think would add some value to owning a vehicle that has the different driving modes. And so that's just the way it is. Not necessarily a big deal, but something that some of you might want to know about. The overall ride quality, well, you have air suspension, so you probably don't have to be told that that means you have a very smooth ride quality. That's a good thing if you're looking for that, but that's one thing I really like that the MDX balances so well, and that is the fact that you have a very comfortable ride quality, but at the same time, you also have great handling characteristics. So something you can't always say about every single vehicle that is out there on the road. Plenty of room here for the driver and passengers, especially in these first two rows. The third row, probably a little better for the kids, but in a situation where you don't have much of a choice, you can have the adults fit back there, at least a couple of them. So those options are there depending on the situation. Technology here, I know a lot of people don't like the lack of a touch screen, at least for now. That's going to change, but if you are looking for simplistic technology, you definitely get that here. It may not be a touchscreen, but that doesn't mean that it's difficult to learn or difficult to use. In fact, once you're used to that trackpad, I don't think it's a big deal. And for those of you that maybe haven't ever had this kind of technology before, well, you won't know the difference. So no issues where that's concerned. I know I have a touchscreen in my truck, my daily driver, and I don't really use it that much. Most of what I need to do is already set up, so there's not much I have to worry about where that's concerned. But I'm sure there's some people out there who will say, yeah, I use my touchscreen every single day. So just depends on who you are. Easy to see out of. And one thing I did not mention earlier, if you're worried about a blind spot, well, you really don't have to worry about that. You might not have seen the blind spot information system in the side view mirrors. That's because it's actually on the inside of the door in this area on the driver and passenger sides. So you don't have to worry about there not being a blind spot information system here. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2024 Acura MDX Type S. Is this the trim level that has it all? Tell me what your thoughts are. Is there anything missing? I know a lot of you want to have something other than the lack of a touch screen. Like I say, that's coming for 2025, but there will likely be a price increase as well. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But tell me what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Acura for loaning me this MDX for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe, and If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you might wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.